All right, welcome to our third video. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about the party itself, the gold process, how much people will get paid, etc. And then I want to talk about how you can build a team. And finally, I want to talk about what if you're a charity? What if you're a nonprofit? You know, how can we do these bigger events than just 10 people in a home? So let's start with, Lisa, you were going to tell us an example of some gold that was sold. So once people bring their items, their gold, to these parties, how much are people making, and what kind of value are we compared to going somewhere else?
So I have just this little bitty bag here with a ring, a necklace, and two little commemorative pendants in it that I tested for a family member. And our price that we were going to pay out was $268. And am I allowed to say how much the pawn shop down the street was going to give us?
If you don't, I'm going to get mad at you.
Of course. You can't say that and then not.
And I just went. These are fresh numbers from today. The pawn shop down the street offered me $125.
Oh, wow.
And here's the thing, though. A lot of times people think, oh, yeah, pawn shop, I can see what they did. And I used to own pawn shops. I own jewelry stores. So I understand this whole game. Like, yes, pawn shops will try to get the least amount of it they can because they're usually loaning on it and stuff. But a lot of times people go, oh, a jewelry store, though, they're going to be nice. They're going to pay me the top dollar. No, they're not. They're going to do the exact numbers that pawn shop would do because they can. And that's how they make their money. With us, we don't have the overhead. We don't have a storefront. We don't have, we go out. We don't have to pay a huge staff of people. We don't have to have the storefront. We don't have to have safes. We don't have to have security. We go out, we buy the gold, we take it in. We have to hold it for a certain number of time because we do everything by the book. We did have to build a software program, but we don't have that huge overhead. And then we have to hold it for 30 days. We do everything legitimately just to make sure things aren't stolen. But we just are able to pay out more money. And I don't think people really get it until they sit down with us and do it.
So in your experience, and I know averages is very loose, but you say the average party makes about $5,000 in gold. What does that mean?
Yeah, we purchase about $5,000 in gold.
And, yes.
Then our profit comes out of that. We have to pay the hostesses. We have to pay the testers. So the average revenue for a party is what we pay out is about $5,000.
Okay, which means that the average.
We've had some that are a lot bigger.
Well, tell me about that. What are some of the biggest ones that you've had?
So, it's funny, in the beginning, I live in West Palm Beach, Florida. First party I ever did, I said it was $5,000. It was amazing. Now, I live in South Florida. We have a huge Cuban population down in Miami. My, wife at the time would say, hey, I booked 15 parties this weekend. And the first one we went to, we did $20,000 because in some, some countries, some ethnicities, that's a big thing. Like you start getting gold when you're little and you're wearing it your whole life. And so people would break it. I would get Cuban link necklaces that were worth $5,000 that a guy got when he's in high school, but hasn't worn since he was trying to be a rapper. Like all kinds of different things. So they can go very big. And then I don't know if you want me to share this now, but on doing, we do charity events.
Yep.
And that's a huge part of what we do. Because if you've ever been involved with a charity or a church or a nonprofit, their whole life is spent, the majority of their life, unfortunately, instead of doing the work that they're supposed to do, which is whatever their organization is. It could be helping sex trafficking. I have a friend of mine in South Florida, Palm Beach Lighthouse. We're doing a gold party for her on November 16th. She helps women that are trafficked, but she tells me, Paul, about 80% of my time is spent trying to get money.
Yes.
And I'm like, if we do this and we give a portion of the proceeds to what you're doing, and my friend's restaurant is going to promote it, we're going to promote it as a community event. I'm like, I've done events where my friends are on the radio stations down there in Florida. We had 6 different radio stations, and around Christmas time, they had all their listeners come, and a portion of the proceeds went to a charity. We bought $60,000 worth of gold in less than 2.5 hours.
And the beauty
So-
is nobody is having to spend their own money. It's stuff that's
No.
already lying in the drawers or wherever. I mean, I've
It's just like, I look at it like when you have somebody that's like about to move and you start going, all right, we're going to have a garage sale.
Right.
And you go through your whole house. You're like, I haven't worn that in a long time. I haven't done that. You're like, oh my gosh, we just made $5,000 or $4,000 from a garage sale. It's the same thing, but you're just walking in instead of a bunch of stuff, putting it out for the weekend, you go to a party.
Awesome. So as people are watching this thinking, this is something that anyone can just connect Gold Rush Global with a charity, and we can help facilitate that.
Absolutely. And we, as a company, when we do a party, we only, when we do a party and there's a hostess and there's somebody that referred it, we pay out 10% and 10%. So that's 20. When it's a charity, as a company, we add an additional 10%. So
Oh, wow.
if the charity's the host, we give 10%. But as a company, we donate another 10%
Right.
because that's the right thing to do. Now, they've got to prove they're a 501c. They've got to prove
Yes.
it's not just Johnny and Angel in the corner trying to do a bunch of things.
Yes.
But we want to make sure that as a company, we're giving back as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So let's talk about team building. So back to, I'm a host, I'm hosting my party. Lisa, what is the thing that you're looking for, or are you screening? Like, who do you want on your team to go to try to do their own parties?
Everybody.
Okay,
Just
'Cause you never
everybody.
know.
so we're back to that.
I wasn't supposed to be successful. I mean, literally, the day of my party, I was a wreck. We had just moved into the house. I was still getting ready. People were arriving. Food wasn't ready. It wasn't supposed to be successful. And even the tester left after paying everybody. The party was a success. But if you had been vetting me to see if I was going to be a good member for your team, I didn't get his vote.
Right.
Luckily, I don't know, something about it struck a chord with me, and it took off. So I
It's just,
definitely
some people say, listen, is this for everyone? It is for everyone, just not everyone's for it. But we got to find that out. And a lot of times it's like, you might get someone in that like Elisa, but you might not get someone like Elisa, but you might get someone that leads you to Elisa. So it's like, hey, this may not be for me, but my friend or my sister or my cousin or my aunt, they would be amazing at this. So it's just, we show it to everybody. Like you said, though, we're not selling anything. We're not taking anything from someone. If they're interested, great. If they're not, we just go on about it and do it.
And it's not heavy pressure either. So if someone comes in and they want to work with us and they book a couple of parties, and for whatever reason, it doesn't meet their level of expectations or success, and they want to step back and no longer do parties, we part as friends. That is perfectly fine. It doesn't upset us or anything like that. There's no pressure whatsoever.
And then you mentioned earlier an interesting slant on this, which was that you kind of piggybacked on other people's parties. Tell me a little bit more about how you did that and how the viewers watching this could maybe use that strategy.
You want me to jump in?
Either.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Liz.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, all of us have either been in network marketing, know someone that's been in network marketing, people call them pyramid, whatever you want. And I used to have companies that would actually come to me. I started in network marketing. I love network marketing, but a lot of times it was really hard to get people to buy the products. It's hard to get people to get started. So what would happen when we did these parties, and it was accidental. It was so funny. Most everything we did was not by design. It just happened organically. And so I would have somebody that goes, hey, I'm involved with Herbalife. I'm involved with this company. I want to do a party, but I want to have my business there as well. And a lot of times people would go, oh, no. Like if you try to put a Herbalife party and an Amway party together,
Right.
Guess what? Not going to happen.
Yep.
Because there's a conflict of interest. With us, we're not there selling anything. We're not there doing, all we're doing is facilitating the fact that people can have money in their pocket and then they can turn around and buy the other stuff. So we would have people that go, hey, I'm going to have my weekly meeting. And the great thing about that is a lot of times they would do those weekly meetings on our less busy nights. So it was great. Oh, they're going to do it on a Tuesday or they're going to do it on a Wednesday. They would invite all their people for that. And it was funny because they would have the money then to turn around and buy the product or get started in that business. And then a lot of times those people would spin out with more parties. And it just got, I even had owners of some of these major network marketing and direct sales companies actually call me and say, hey, I can't completely endorse it. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, well, it's a compete. I'm like, no, it's not. And I'd explain it to them. I had a guy go up in front of 5,000 people at a major event and had me come and speak for a couple minutes because it was like, hey, we're not hurting anybody. We're helping everybody.
Yeah, it's the opposite of competing with them. You're enabling them to have more money in their pocket so they can buy whatever's being sold.
Absolutely.
Okay, last question, and this is super informative. I've learned a lot, and I know the people that have watched this have. What about, again, we're in 2024 as we're filming this, soon to be 2025. Technology is evolving. What about virtual parties? Is this something that I could do if I didn't want to do a physical
so
party?
Virtual parties, I mean, a virtual party is kind of like, we still will have to have the materials with us at some point in front of us.
Right.
But if I get somebody that goes, I don't know if I have anything that's real, or if you live in a place where you don't really have a lot of people, but maybe you have a couple of friends and they're scattered across the country, we can set up a time where one of our technicians and myself, Lisa, or one of our other Element certified technicians can get on something we call an R-Link. It's a video chat. They can show us what they have. If I can look at the products and say, you know what, the material, and say, and listen, 99.9% of the time, it's always going to have some kind of material in there, but we want them to know who we are. We don't want them just putting it in an envelope and sending it off to some stranger. And there was a company that did that about 15 years ago. But now we'll look at everything. If there's stuff that we think is, something we want to look at, we'll tell them, hey, we're going to give you a insured envelope. It's nondescript. It's not going to say gold on it, so nobody steals it. We're going to teach you how to package it. You're going to send it off to us. We're going to tell you, take pictures of everything you have, inventory what you have. So then when we receive it, we're going to do another R-Link or video chat, and we're going to go through it. And we're going to test it. And because of technology and video, I can put a whole thing right here, test it, weigh it, tell you what you have. And if you accept our offer, I can pay you right then. Instead of you just sending it off or just saying, oh, I only have one person that wants to buy gold. Guess what? We'll still do that for them. You'll still make that 10%. And it may not be $5,000, but what if they had $50 or $100? What if they had $10 in gold and or $100, you made $10? $10 is still $10.
Perfect. Well, awesome. I want to finish with a big plug for our social medias, because this video and a lot of the video content that we're going to be promoting in the future is created for one reason only, and that's for you to use to share it so that you can find people that want to do parties and everyone wins. So I'm going to leave the links below to all of our social media channels that we are just getting onboarded. Lots more content will be coming soon. Thank you for watching this video. Paul, Lisa. Paul is in Nashville. Lisa's in Texas. I'm in Salt Lake City. Again, this is a global company, and we're thankful that you joined us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video.